Hello everyone, welcome to the second session of the LogicMachine training course. Today I will show you how to create visualizations, the three types of visualizations we have available in LogicMachine: web visualization, touch visualization, and how to use the cloud service, the Mosaic cloud service. Yesterday, in the session number 1, we show you how to do the basic configuration of LogicMachine, as well as how to import your KNX project into the LogicMachine, change the IP, change the KNX configuration, KNX connection system, and a few other things. Well, let's get to it. First thing, we need to enter our LogicMachine using the IP address. Okay. As I said, we have three types of visualization. We have the web visualization, we have the touch visualization. This will show us let's say a smaller or more light visualization for devices with let's say slow capabilities. We will see the difference a little bit earlier. And then we have the cloud solution, which is the Mosaic. We can create a certain kind of visualization that we can control from the cloud without need of open ports on our router or create a VPN connection. Okay, first thing, we go to LogicMachine settings in here, configuration. Once we're here, we have three tabs that we are going to use today with the visualization. We have the visualization structure, we have the visualization editor, and we also have the visualization graphics. In the visualization structure, we're going to create all the levels, all the plans, all the screens that we want our users to see. We can create folders and subfolders in each one of those to make a certain level of organization in our visualization. We can also import a pre-made visualization. We have a few examples in the OpenRV webpage. If you want to follow me and practice and use a, let's say, virtual LogicMachine, you can also enter into the 4n.lv in the port 7999. It will let you go in a virtual LogicMachine we have available in the web if you want to practice all that we are doing right now in the training. The admin the user and the password is admin, so you can access very easily. Okay, we can create in here in this tab the levels and the plans, as we said earlier. We can also create layouts and widgets. The layouts, it's let's say the background of all the pages that we are going to create, and we can create several different layouts, and assign them each layout to whatever page we want or we need. The widgets are like pop-up windows that will show in our visualization. We're going to create a few of them to make a very good visualization. We also have the visualization graphics. Here we are going to import, add, and we can open all of our icons, images, and backgrounds in the second tab. We can also import custom fonts, TrueType fonts, or we can add a TrueType font or an OTF fonts. So we can have a special type of font in our visualization. LogicMachine, by default, we have 4 different types of fonts. We're going to see we're going to see each one of them. And we can also create and edit a custom CSS file for modifying how the object looks and how the object interacts with the user. Okay, the first thing, we're going to create the structure of our visualization. In this case, in this screen, we can create a new level. Create a new level will create a new main folder. It's not necessary to be the name to be main. We can create, for example, building 1, for example. We can assign a pin code for this folder. When we assign a pin code, all the visualizations, all the layouts, the plans that we create inside of that folder, it will ask for a pin code to access that visualization in specific. In this case, we can leave it blank, and we will create another folder. In this case, we're going to use only main, so I can delete it very easily. We also can duplicate the folder and the whole content, and we can also import it a part of the visualization or the whole visualization that we have created in another LogicMachine, or each plan in parts. In this case, to create new pages or create new folders inside of the main folder, we can go and click the green Add button, and it gives us 3 options. We can add a second level. It will create a second folder inside the main one. We can also create a new plan, or we can import a single plan from our previous design, a previous creation. Let's add a new plan. I'm going to add a few plans, and for example, navigation plan. Let's click navigation. In here, we can choose the size that will have this screen in specific. We also have a few defaults that we can select directly from this button. We have an iPad landscape. It has almost a regular size screens for these different devices that we have here. The visualization, it changes its size automatically if we have it selected, and this is only for, let's say, better visualization, so we don't lose quality on the images. We can select, in this case, I'm going to leave it as it is, but we can select a tablet, a laptop, or a big screen, a full HD big screen, for example. This will depend on the screen that we're going to use. We can select a layout that we, at this moment, haven't created yet, but we can select it right here. We can also select either this visualization, this screen in specific, will show or will be hidden in the web visualization. In this case, user mode visualization is the web visualization, or if it will show the visualization and it will be the default screen. When we open the visualization the visualization screen, when we click the button of visualization in the main screen, it will show by default this screen that we are creating, navigation. Okay. As well as the touch visualization, we can select the same thing. In this case, I'm going to make default the touch visualization also, because this is the main screen I want to show. We can also select a pin code to enter this specific plan, this specific screen. We can also select 2 different backgrounds. These backgrounds we can select it only if we have any image loaded into the LogicMachine in the visualization graphic option. We're going to upload a few of them. We also can change the background color, and the background color for the web visualization and for the touch visualization distinctively. We can also repeat the background image to create some sort of mosaic. If the image is not big enough, we can create a pattern of the image that we have selected in primary background. And then we have the option for fixed primary background. This fixed primary background will give us the effect of the parallax. I don't know if you know the parallax effect in the web pages, that the background image it's fixed in a position, and the text and the content of the web page moves above it. It gives a very good effect if we want it. In this case, I'm going to uncheck it. Okay, we create a navigation page. I'm going to create also a lighting page. Same configuration, no changes, and a few more of them. For example, blinds. We can create layers. We can create plans for systems and for rooms, or really whatever structure we desire at the moment. We're going to create also a multimedia screen, and a heating layer. Okay, once we have created all of these layers, we can already edit each visualization, or we can create more objects, more visualizations, clicking the layout widget. The layout, as I said before, it's the, let's say, the default page that we're going to use in our visualizations. We can create not one, but whatever quantity of layouts we need. In this case, I'm going to put it as master layout. I'm going to use only one, just for show, and we can save it. And a widget. A widget, it's a pop-up window that will show when we click on an object. In this case, I'm going to use, let's say, a blind 2, and we can set the size at 200 and 150 pixels. Because it's a pop-up window, we need it to be smaller than the visualization. We can also set at this screen a position, so the widget always show in a fixed position. I will show you an example when we are creating it. We can also select a background image, and of course background colors, and the same thing as we saw before, the fixed primary background. Okay, let's save this. Next thing we're going to do is apply the master layout to each page that we're going to use. In this case, navigation page, it will be different from the others, so I will leave it as it is, and we'll change lighting. To edit the configuration of each page, we only click above it, click on it, and then we can select in the layout, we can select master layout. In this case, we can do this for all our visualization. Master layout. This way, when I edit the master layout, all the visualizations, all the layers, all the plans that I have assigned that layout will change as well as the master layout. Okay, we have a very simple structure of the visualization created. Now we are going to add all the items, all the icons and graphics that we're going to use. For that, we go to the visualization graphics tab, and in this case, I'm going to add some icons. LogicMachine by default brings this set of icons. This set of icons, we can also modify them. These are svg.svg files. These files are vector graphics, so it doesn't matter how we change the size of it, it will never lose resolution, it will never lose quality, as they are vector graphics. We can edit these objects with specialized graphic software such as Adobe Illustrator, but also we can edit them using web services or using freeware software such as Inkscape. It's a very easy to use free software that we can use to create this kind of icons of this kind of graphics, or even edit this kind of graphics. In this case, I'm going to add a few icons that I've already created. We can upload a single icon one by one. Let's say we click one, in this case a transparent image. We can upload it one by one just by clicking like that, or we can upload several icons, several items at a time. To upload several icons at a time, we click on Add Icons, the same window, and we select a zip file. A zip, we go to All Files, and we select a compressed file which has all the icons in it. These icons are very, very light because they are barely text. They are only coordinates of each one of the points of the graphic. So they don't have a lot of weight. They won't make your visualization very hard to load, very slow. By the contrary, it would make it very fast. So this way you won't have to wait a lot of time to the images and the graphics to charge. In this case, the package of icons, it's a little big, so it's taking its time. Of course, I forgot. We have this set of icons, this standard set of icons. We can edit them by using a tool that OpenRB, the web page of LogicMachine, has. The tool, we can find it in openrb.com/icons. Icons. If we use this tool, it will show us the whole pack of icons and a very simple editor that we can change the color of the foreground and the background of all the set of icons. In this case, I could change it very easily with a color pad to whatever color I need. Let's set it, for example, like that. I can have a custom-made set of icons, and when I click download, it will give me a zip file containing all these icons with the configuration I've used. We can use this tool as many times as we want. This is a free tool that we have on OpenRB at your disposition. So, icons still loading, I believe. Okay, done. This set of icons, they are a free set of icons I found on the internet. You can also find several free icons, SVG free icons on the internet. Just search on your browser on Google or any other service. You can search for SVG icons, and it will show you a lot of free services for downloading icons if you don't want the trouble to create icons from scratch. Here you have home automation icons, 105 free. We have a lot of them. So it's a very easy solution that you can do for creating advanced visualizations. Okay, the icons have already uploaded. Okay, reload the page. Great. We have here a lot of icons. Let me add a few images. It's a little slow. Okay, great. Let's go again. Visualization graphics. Now we're going to add a few images. The difference between icons and images in LogicMachine, the icons will only work when we are creating buttons and other types of control. But when we are trying to add some images, some backgrounds, it won't let us select the icons, as well as when we are adding images or backgrounds to our visualizations, it won't let us select any icon in the list. So there's a difference between them. We're going to use a background that we have saved. It's a standard house. standard 3D house that we have created. And also I'm going to load this section. It also accepts PNG files. The icons also, we can select PNG files, and as well we can select SVG files for these images and background option as well. So we don't have to use only SVG graphics. We can use any type of graphic that we need, that we desire. The difference, again, with the SVG graphics, it's that they are vectors, so it doesn't matter the size of them, it will always maintain its aspect ratio and will maintain the quality, which doesn't happen with the images. Let me add a few more, just 2 of them, widget. Okay, and the last one. Exactly. They supported SVG, PNG, JPEG, and GIF type files in this the LogicMachine. Okay. Let's wait just a little more, and we will start editing and creating our visualization. Okay. Now we have uploaded a image, a background image, so we're going to add it in the, very quickly, we're going to add it in the master layout. Once I've done that, uploaded the image, save very quickly. All the visualizations that we have selected that layout will have that background image by default. So next we will see the editor. Clicking in visualization tab. This visualization tab, we have 3 panels. We have left panel, which shows us the structure that we have created earlier. We have the center panel that will show us this, let's say the finished process of the editing of the visualization, and then we have the third panel, the right panel. We can select the type of object that we're going to add. Okay, so we will first edit the master layout. We click on master layout, and it will show us already we have the background image that we have selected, like that, just what has been created. In case I select, for example, lighting, it also has the background set, because the master layout has a background and the lighting is associated with that layout. So let's edit first the master layout. We, for editing this page, we have to click on unlock current plan for editing. Then it shows us a little grid on the visualization that we can, well, the grid, it's already there. There's a point that I have to mention, the origin of coordinates of this editor. It's set on the top left corner. So this is the 0, 0, and the units are in pixels. So when we add an object, it will be referenced to this point right here, to this left, upper left corner. Okay, so first thing we're going to add, we have here at the right several tabs. We will see what object does in a moment, but the first thing we're going to do is add a link. The links are buttons that we can add into our visualization that can take us to another pages, let's say start pages or trend log pages, any of the options that we have here. And also we can navigate through a external link. When we click the button that we are going to create, it will take us to a custom external link that we can add right here to any page at all. Given this is a web-based visualization, we are going to open it in a browser. This way we can link, navigate through any external page, also through any local page. For example, and this is the let's create a link going through the lighting page. In this case, I'm going to put the same name, lighting, and we can select a few options from this icon. The icon has not been added yet until I click Add to Plan, so we can configure it previously, and then when we click Add on Plan, it will show it in the visualization. If we click right now, for example, it will tell us that we need to set a icon, that we require a icon to be shown. Okay. In this case, we have hidden visualization. As I said, the visualization, the touch visualization, it's automatically created based on this visualization and the web visualization. So we can select either to show or hide the elements that we are creating in this visualization in the touch visualization. In this case, it doesn't matter. I'm going to leave it that way. We can also hide the background. It shows a gray background by default that we can change. We are going to change it later. We can also display only the value. The value, it's a custom text that we can, the value, it's the custom name that we have set in here. It will show the value only a text, or it will show a icon that we decide. In this case, let's use an icon. I'm going to make this a little bigger so we can see more items at the time. Okay, as this is the lighting page, I'm going to use the bulb icon, and then we can set a active state icon. This active state icon will show us in which page are we on right now. We can also add additional classes. These are CSS classes. We're going to use them in a moment, but we have the option to use them in every item that we create on the visualization. Okay, so we click on Add to Plan, and by default it sets itself on the left superior, in the left top corner. This is because we have the element position down here at the right set to 1010. We can also change this by default, so every element that we create, it's being placed in a specific position. This is pixels. So if we have a visualization created and very well thought, we only have to give each and every item the coordinates of its final position, so it is where you need it. Okay, we can move it either way. We can move it changing these numbers, or we can click on it and drag the item where we need to. In this case, we're going to put it down here, and we are going to put it at 700 to have a reference for the next ones. Let's do this a few times for also blinds. And let's set very quickly a blinds icon, active state icon blinds, add to plan in the top corner. We put it down where we need it. It's this easy to create a visualization. This is just the basics, creating links through the multimedia. Okay, I have a okay, we have too much icons here, too many icons. Oop. Okay, I lost them. Here they are. Okay, click and click. For the multimedia, set the name, add to plan, drag it. And the last one will be the heating. This is fairly close, I think. Okay, here it is. Let's put fire. Okay, great. Add to plan in the corner. Okay, once we've created the layout, each page that we have selected this layout will have this same graphics. For example, if I go to lighting, it has the same pattern, and the lighting icon it's in its on state, its active states, because we are in the lighting window. In the case of blinds, multimedia, and heating, each one switches back and forth depending on which visualization we are. Okay, so let's start adding some controls to this visualization. So we go to lighting, we unlock the current plan for editing, and here we go to the first object that we can create. The object, that's redundant, doesn't matter. We can create a single button to control any of the objects that we have in our object list. In this case, as we are in the lighting pages, we're going to select a lighting. We can select it either clicking on the list and showing the drop-down menu, or we can also search for lights by writing the address that we're needing. In this case, 11, and will show us all the addresses that starts with 111. We can also search by name. In this case, we can search a specific light, in Spanish, sorry, and we click on it, and it fills automatically the value that we need. We also have we can also set for this object a status object. In case of a light, we know that we have a control object. In this case, it's the 111, the object that can turn on and off a light in specific, and we have the status in the case that we change the object from another system, in example from another button or so, that we can select the state of the light. In this case, I'm going to use light 1. We can set this control to read only. We can set this control also to hide it in the touch visualization, to hide the background, send a fixed value. In this case, as it is a on-off light and a on-off control object, we can send, for example, a 0. So every time that we click on the specific icon, it will only send a 0 and will turn on the light that we have selected in this case. In this case, we don't need it. We're going to leave it as a toggle system. We can also set that it doesn't send the value to the bus. This is very useful when we have internal variables that we are needing, that we're using only on the LogicMachine. This way, the value is not sent to the bus, and we don't have too much traffic in the bus that can give us problem. We can also set a pin code to that will prompt a little screen asking us for the pin code that we selected. This pin code is fully numeric. We can set, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, and when we click on the button, it will show a window asking us for a for this pin code in specific. We can also activate a widget. When we click on it, it will open if we have selected a pop-up window that we have created previously. In this case, the blinds 2 that we have. I'm not going to use it because we're using a light. We can change the display mode. We can show the icon and the value of the object that we're using. In this case, light 1. We can select only the icon or show only the value of the object. Let's leave it on icon value. We can select a specific icon for touch, and we can set different icons for on and off states. Depending on the data type of the object, these properties will change. In this specific case, as it is a Boolean, let's say a switch object, it has the on and off states. These are only the two states that we will have. So it shows us here on icon and off icon. We will see how it shows on the other object types when we create one of them. So in this case, I'm going to select a light bulb. As we are on the on state, I'm going to select the fully on in here, 100%, and the off icon, I'm going to select the 0%. Okay, we can also set different classes. We can change as well the font size and the text styles, bold, italic, and underlined. We can also set a custom type font. In this case, we have four default types already uploaded in the LogicMachine. We can select either of them. In this case, let's select Verdana for changing them. We can also change the color of the font very easily by selecting the color, and we can also set a custom color just by changing the code of the color. If we know how to control it, it's very easy. Okay, yeah, these two let's leave in for later. We will see what they do. Okay, once we click on add to plan, it will add the object and we can drag it wherever we want. Let's check the underline. Okay, so let's put it, for example, in the living room, apply, and when we save and reload the plan, we can, in here, in this same visualization, just click on it and see in the webcam, I don't know if you can see it, we can see how the light turns on and off. It's the little bulb on the left, the bottom left of the left panel. Very easily, we have created a control object with a status. We can also create very quickly the rest of the icons for example, the next light. It's very quick, 1, 4, 2. If we know which addresses are we using, we can create it in just a moment, like 2, not read only. Okay, we can select also a icon for the on state, for the off state. We change also the custom font, add to plan. Here it is. So we put it in here, for example, apply and save, and then we have a second control. Very quickly, the customization of, okay, of course, the status object. The status object in KNX is the object that the actuator sends its current status. When a KNX device receives a telegram, it changes according to the command that it was sent to it. And if, for example, in a light, the KNX device will send a status information using, of course, a different group address. In this case, we can select that status object in case that if I stand up and click the button on the KNX object, change object, it will also receive the change status in this visualization. So we don't have to be monitoring the control object all the time, just the status object to know in which state it's the object at the moment. So we can select it right here. For example, I'm going to add a different type of light. In this case, I'm going to use this. It's just turned off. Okay. I'm going to use a byte, a value control, a percentage control of a light. And for receiving the current status of this light, I'm going to use the status object. The status object 153. Here it is. Status, value status percentage of the light 3. In this case, I'm going to use light 3. So as this is a 1 byte object, a percentage object, it will show us here the on and off icon selection. It will only show us the default icon. So when we click default icon, we select the icon that we're going to click, and then it will show us a selection option. In this case, as it is a dimmer, I've lost it. Where it is? Here it is. Okay. Here, light control. Done. So we add it and we locate it wherever we need it. We can also change the size of these objects, of these icons. If we need it, we can change very easily using the element size by defining them by pixels. And also we can change the size of the object by clicking on this grab options that we have here. We can grab from the button and drag it, and also we can drag it from the side and drag it from the corner, so we maintain the aspect ratio. This also is reflected in the element size. In this moment I'm going to leave it by default, which is 56 pixels. Apply. When we made any change on this tab, for example, object link, text label, or any other item that we are edit, if we select on it and edit, change anything on this list, we have to click on apply. This way the changes will apply. So when we save, for example, we can, when we click on the, in this case, the byte object, it will prompt a little screen that we can change the value and set it to whatever we need. In this case, it shows a small scroll that we can set to a different value, and we can see how the light turns on and how the light, in this case, turns off if I send a 0. The state is updated when the actuator, when the dimmer sends the information to the LogicMachine. Okay, so this is the editor view. We also have the a sort of pre-visualization that we can see, that we can go. We can see the how is the visualization being created in this case. In the bottom left, in here, we have several buttons. We have a visualization configuration, we have a list that we're going to see in a moment, and then we have these two buttons, a screen and a small cell phone button. If we click on the screen button, it will show us it will open a different window with the visualization completed. In this case, this is how the user will see this visualization, this plan in a specific. When I click on the object, it will respond the same way that we saw earlier. But when I click on this object, it will show, in this case, a scroll. This scroll, this control, we can change it either to scroll, vertical scroll. We can select also a custom value selection. For example, we're going to change it in a second. So we can change directly using our finger if we are using a mobile phone, a touch screen, or using the mouse, as I'm doing right here, or with the little arrows at the sides. Okay, so we'll close this visualization and let's go to edit again. When we click on the object and go up to the top, when in here, visualization parameters, we click on visualization parameters, and it has a few options that we can select. We can select to change the global parameters. This means we're going to change all the way this object looks, let's say that, like that, in everywhere where this icon is set, or we can change it locally to change only the visualization, how it will behave this specific icon. In this case, let's go to global. and we can change, for example, we had a slider control, so we can change it to direct input, we can change it to a circular slider, and we can change it to custom value select. This custom value select, we need to have it preset on the object list. Let's show each one of them. In this case, direct input, we can change the minimum value and the maximum value and the value of the step. In this case, let's set it to 5%. This will jump whenever I click the button. It will change 5% to 5% to 5%. Let's save, apply, and then save and reload the plan. So we can see this, we need to go to the visualization mode. And when we click on the item, the icon, it will change. It's no longer a scroll bar, but it's a little field, a text field, that we can also change the value by hand by changing the number. We can click 50 and send it, and it will turn on to 50%. We can also change, in this case, we said that it will jump by 5% each time, so 30, 25, 10, and so, very easily. Also, the color and the shape, let's say, of this item, we can change it using CSS classes. Okay, this is the direct input option. Notice that we don't have the icons for the other visualizations. In this example, let's open it. We only have the lighting visualization. This is because the other layers, the other pages are empty. When LogicMachine detects a page is empty, it doesn't show it because it's empty. You don't have nothing to control on it unless we add any type of control or any type of object. It won't show. Okay, let's see the rest of the visualization parameters. Okay, we click in here and we select visualization parameters, change it again by global, and we change, for example, we have already seen the slider. We're going to see now the circular slider. We can change also the minimum value, the maximum value, the step, and we can change also the color. I'm going to use, for example, red. I like very much red. We can select the end of the line to be round or square. We will see it in a minute. And let's leave it that way so we can control it and see what we mean. We apply, save and reload the plan, and preview. Okay, once we click the object, it will show a round slider that we can use to, well, send the value that we need. In this case, we can't just type the value that we want because it's not direct input, but we can change in the step that we selected. In this case is 5. We can select by clicking in the up arrow or the down arrow very easily. Okay, the next one is the custom value that we are going to see later because we don't have anything set to this. In this case, I don't want the user to click on the button. I don't want the user to click on the button to be able to see the control option. In this case, we can select the button, and at the bottom of the configuration, we have show control inline in user mode. If we click in this checkbox and apply, it will show us directly the object, it will show us directly the circular slider or the configuration that we have on the visualization parameters. In this case, we have the circular slider that we can change, of course, its size in here. We can change it at the minimum of 150, I think. Yes, 150. Save. We apply and save and reload. When we go to the preview, we can see that we no longer have a button, but we have a circular slider directly. We don't have to click on it and then enter the visualization. Simply just click in the value that we need, and it will send it directly. It's a very good way to create different visualizations very easily. This we can set it on a specific way that it doesn't show, it doesn't look well without a background. Okay. Also, let's set it to not circular, but let's put it on a regular slider. We can also set it to vertical slider, clicking in here, and we can invert it, clicking in the next check that we see. In this case, let's leave it that way. Apply, and we will see how it shows a slider. Apply, save and reload. There we go. Okay, in here we can change it. We have to click on it because we are in edition mode. To test any change that we do, it's recommended to go to the preview section. Great. Okay. So next object that we are going to use, it's the text label. We click on text label and we can create any type of text label that we need. In this case, let's show lighting, for example. Let's set it to 24, bold with Verdana, for example, and let's set it to that way. Okay. Add to plan, and we can, as any other item, we can drag it and drop it wherever we need it. In this case, this text label is not an active object. It's just a text label that will show on the visualization. We can click on it, we can select it, but it's there. It will help us see the information. If we need to see let's say a variable information, we can use a simple object. We will see this also in the weather. When we touch the weather scripts, we can create any type of object as long as its type it's a string data type. And when we select, I don't have none created, but for example, the luxes of this room. When we select this, we can change the icon and value to just value. This way, when we add it to the plan, it will show only, okay, it added in here. There we go, 0. In this case, let's put a white font color, white, so we can see it on the background. Excellent. And bold. No, click, bold. Apply, save and reload. So, when we are in the preview mode, we will see the value changing when we receive a new data on that object. In this case, this object appears to be broken. Okay, but we can have any type of data. I mean, here we can have text, we can have icons. As you can see, we can have icons that change depending on the value, as we can see on the status objects. And we can have, of course, this object, as we need it to be only a visualization object, we won't be able to change it. It's the idea that we don't change, for example, the lux value of the room. We can set it to, when we unlock, we click on the object and we go up here and set it to read only. This way, when we are in preview mode and we try to click on it, it won't do anything because it's not a controllable object. It's just a status object that we can see. Okay, so let's add more stuff. We can add, of course, a image. For example, let's do this in the layout. I want a clock. I want to put a clock in this visualization. In this case, the SVG files also can have animation. We can write a small JavaScript code inside the SVG file, so we can create animation and movement inside the objects. In this case, we have already uploaded a small clock, the image of a clock. This clock, when we open it in a new page, we can see that takes the hour and the day, well, the hour only of the system, and modifies the vectors of this screen, of this image, and show us a animation. In this case, if I inspect the code, we will see that it's not an image, it's not something that has to load a certain amount of bytes or anything. It's just text that we can create, that has been created using just coordinates. In this case, x 195, y 100, and we can say here how it's changing. We can also see the small script in here. It's a very small code that we can create and modify in our objects. Well, that's one of the perks and advantages of the SVG files. So we add it to the plan. This object has a small problem. We have to save and reopen the layout. Okay, and we can drag it and drop it, for example, in the right side corner. Let me change it to a size that we can see. That way. Element size, it doesn't matter. That way. We apply, save and reload, and then in all our visualizations, we are going to see a small clock, analog clock at the top. There you go. A clock that is every time updating with no need of coding, let's say LogicMachine coding. In this case, okay, let's add more stuff. We have a lot of things that we can add in this thing. In this case, let's add some multimedia. To add some multimedia, we can use a frame. In this case, as I don't have any multimedia object installed, let's make a small parenthesis here, and let's integrate very quickly the Sonos, the Sonos speaker that we have in the installation at the right of your webcam. You can see a Sonos screen. Okay, for that, we go to the app screen, the main screen that we saw yesterday, where we can see all the apps, and we are going to add a new app using the App Store. In this, we can see all the apps that we have available. In this case, we are going to add the Sonos app. Very easily, we click on the green Add button, install Sonos, yes. And what we need to do, the only thing that we need to do in the configuration of a Sonos, in the integration of any Sonos device, is of course configure it as its manual says. We open the box, we see a fast startup guide, we follow it. It's very simple. With the app, the Sonos app on our mobile phone, we connect the Sonos to our Wi-Fi. It's only, let's say, it's the deal. It's the manufacturer's instructions. It doesn't have to do anything with the LogicMachine. Once we have configured correctly our Sonos device and we have the LogicMachine connected to the same network that the Sonos device, we just click on the Sonos app, and automatically, if not automatically, we have to search it, but it doesn't matter. Automatically, it will show us in here that we have a Sonos device ready to be added. In the case that we don't see any device in here, we click on Show Advanced Settings and Search Players. We click Search Players. It will take a few seconds in this case. Maybe it can take up to one couple of minutes, I don't know. And this way we have the Office Sonos created. To control it directly with LogicMachines, we can just click on the plus button in here. We can select a floor and a room. We have to have it previously created using the mosaic. We will see that in a moment. And we give it a name. In this case, I'm going to call it Office. Office Sonos, so we can know what it is. We create it, and then we go. There we go. it already automatically uploads the playlist that we have available in the Sonos equipment and the favorites that we have set on that same Sonos equipment. I haven't done anything. Oh, great. I haven't done anything else apart of configuring the Sonos device itself and installing the Sonos application in here. It's very easy to use, so I can click on any favorite I need, and it will, in this case, it has a little, okay. For example, if I play any song, I have to, wait a moment, where it is? Okay. If I select any song, either from the playlist that it's empty at the moment, we don't have anything set to it yet, but if I click on any device, we can see how it is. There we go. There it's playing, and we have the information of the playing track right here in the middle. Okay, we can also pause, we can also play the music and change it to the next cue song and change the volume very easily. Okay, so we have already integrated the app very quickly, very easy. So we need a control in our visualization. Let's stop the music. Okay, we need to let's say integrate this this page to our visualization. For that, we go again in our visualization tab, LogicMachine. Okay, visualization. We go to the multimedia page that we have created, unlock, and set the frame. The frame is like a miniature browser that you can put inside your visualization. In this case, we can go to a external URL, or we can go to the schedulers or to the trend logs just by selecting. In this case, if we go to the schedulers, it will show us like if we are clicking directly into this icon, the schedulers icon. See? So in this case, we're going to use a external URL, and we're going to copy the address of the Sonos application. We copy the address of the Sonos application, and we paste it into the URL. We can set the frame size in here. We can also refresh if the page needs refresh every several seconds. We can select and click the amount of seconds that we want to refresh it. In this case, we add it to the plan, put it to the corner, and resize it to the size we need. Let's set it to hide the background image. There we go. Apply, save and reload. And when we enter our visualization, we can see first thing how the object, the link for the multimedia, it's already up and working. And when we click, it opens directly the visualization. So from here, it's like a normal web page. I can click, change the volume, select the playlist, select the favorites, and even change the queue list, select a track from the queue list, and navigate through all the pages in the screen. We can also check if we go to the options of this frame and check persistent. When we close, let's say when we go to another visualization, the page will be already charged in cache. So when we load the first time the screen, when we change and we go back again, it will be already loaded, and we don't need to load it every time we go to the multimedia or the music tab of our visualization. Very easy. So, okay, let's keep on. Also, we can add some. Okay, let's go to lighting. Unlock. We can create some gauges that we can measure very graphically the value of the variables. In this case, let's set the temperature, the size, let's set it to 200, and add it to the plan. When we add a gauge, it shows this object that we can modify. In this case, as we see, minus 200 and a lot, and 6,700,000. We can change it in here in visualization parameters, global, and we can change the value from the minimum value. In this case, as it is a temperature, let's set it to minus 10 degrees. I don't think that goes below. We are inside a house. And the maximum value will be 40 degrees, for example. In this case, we're not going to use step or decimal places yet, 2 decimal places. We save it, and we can check read only, so we don't have to, when we click on it, it doesn't change anything. There we go. It changed the range of this object, so we can see now that we have a little gauge that we can use and create and move wherever we need it to. Also, we can add cameras to the system. For example, let's create it in a new screen. Let's create it in blinds, for example. We don't have a security created. The source URL, these cameras work with a MJPG. It's MJPG, if I'm not mistaken. The MJPG it's a kind of streaming that the IP cameras delivers us, so we can have a, let's say, a continuously changing JPG. In this case, I'm going to use the IP of a camera that we have set up in here. We can select an icon, so we can open the small pop-up that will show. In this case, we have already selected the camera, has it by default. Let's close. There we go. We can change the window size. This size is good for me, and add to plan. It will show a small add to plan. Wait a second. Save and reload. Ooh, it's a little slow. This computer is not the best. There you go. When we go to the preview, of course, this icon, we can drag it and drop it wherever we want to. When we click on the icon, it will show a pop-up window. It will show a pop-up window with the camera feed. I believe I set it up wrong. Okay. Just a second. Okay, I believe I don't need to put the HTTP. Okay. Unlock, click on the icon. 192.168. Okay, here it is. 212. Apply. Save. And when we open the preview and we click on the object, it will show a visualization with the camera feed. There we go. The moving cars, the persons, everything. We can see it right here, and we can close and open another camera feed that we have working on the system very easily, very quick. We can also create a, let's say, a fixed camera feed using a frame. Okay, this is repeated. We can delete. How many I created? Okay, there we go. We can also create a frame using the URL that I have pasted in the camera, so we can have a small, let's say, fixed square here with the feed of the camera always open. We can also add graphs. We can select objects that are being logged, that have the log. Let's close this. Okay. The objects that we are logging. In this case, we are going to check the temp, so we can graph the real temperature 032. Okay. Go to visualization, unlock the plan, create a new graph with the object 032, real temperature. We can set a name, temp room 1. We can select a icon, any icon will do. I will just select this little line in here. We add it to the plan. Okay, I deleted the objects and didn't save. There we go. We drag it and drop it where we need it, apply, save, and when we go to the preview, I should have this open and only refresh the page. When we click on the object, it will open a new window showing the information received and logged in the object log tab. We can select how many objects back we want to show in the graph just by unlocking and selecting in here number of points. We can set up to, I believe, 200. Yes, we can set it up to 200 values back. So when we save, recharge, reload the page, and we click in here, we can see up to 200 data, saved data in this graph. In this case, the temperature hasn't changed at all, but we can also zoom in and zoom out using double click, and we are back in the previous. So this is the way to create basic visualizations with LogicMachine. We can also create, let's go very quickly and import. I have already created a small widget. Let's add a new widget. No, let's import a new widget. Select file, and let's go to visualization layouts, blind one. Open. Let's keep the objects, save. Okay, when we import any type of visualization or any type of specific layout widget or plan, it will ask if we want to keep the objects that are already set in that visualization, or if we want to clear the objects. If we clear the objects, they will be empty. It won't show any object. In this case, I checked the keep objects. So when we go to the visualization and click on blinds, we will see I already made widget, just like this blind 2 widget that I've created. When I edit, it shows a small block that is the size that I have selected. In this case, we go to blind 1, and I have created these 2 items. We unlock to see what we have. When we click on it, we will see that the address it's already set. I have set it previously. This is a percentage position of the blinds that we have in our KNX system. In this case, we can set different icons for the different states that this variable can have, this object can have. By that, we go to the last object, the last configuration of the object, to additional icons. In here, we can create and add different icons. For example, I here created from 0 to 10%. It will show this specific icon. In this case, let's search FTS. There we go. In this case, it will show a small blind going up and down, as you can see in here, 10%, 20%, 30%, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100% very easily. So this way we can create a sort of animated icon without the need of coding and other type of configuration. The same I did in here. To do that, I click on additional icons. I create from 0 to, in this case, 14, and I select the icon that I need. As these are the lamella, the blades of the, I can select the 10%, and then when I click icon, it will already set the default separation, the default range that I have selected. I select the next one. No, 30, no. 20, 56, 70, 84, 98, in this case, 100. Okay. We go to 30, we go to 40. 60 and 70. There we go. So here we have apply, save and reload, and we have a widget created. So we can call this widget using a normal object. We can unlock the current page, and we can select, for example, the 1111, that is move the blind object. I don't need any status object, even though I can put it and change the object's state at this moment. But I will check in here blind 1 widget. The only thing I need to do is select a icon. Very quickly, let's select minutes in here. And select the same icon for the off, because it is a, oh, come on. I cancel it by accident. Icon, this one, and this one. Add to plan. It's in the top corner. I set it in the window and select the widget that I need. Apply. Save and reload. There we go. So when I am in the preview, I click in the object that I have just created. Okay, click, and it will show us the small widget. This widget, as I said, we can put it in everywhere we need it. Specifically, if we need every time we click on a widget, on a blind, for example, these controls show in the bottom left corner because we have a space created for it. We can set it by coordinates in the edition mode. So this way we can see that it is at 100%. We can change it to, for example, let's set it to 0%. And the blades, let's change it to the 5%. In a moment, when the motor it stops spinning, it will send the state of the, there we go. It's at 0%. This way we can set it to 30%, for example, and we can set the blades to 100%, and we can see how the icons change, how the icons move and change its value. So this way we have a visual status very easily and very quickly, as you may see. Okay. As I said, a touch visualization, it's being created automatically as we make all this. To see what is that that touch visualization, we click on the small mobile phone in here, and here we can see the visualization we have created. In this case, we see that we have a percentage control for the light. We have a on-off switch for light 2 and light 1, and we have the touch only, sorry, the touch, the status only lux value. So as the blinds, in this case, the camera, if I click on the camera, it will open the window showing us the feed of the webcam. it's very slow. And it's my computer, it's not good. And when we click on the button of move the blinds, it will show us the widget that I have just created. This visualization also with the icons that I have, the custom icons that I have set. We can change, and the icons also will change. This visualization is very useful when we are working with slow cell phones or systems like that don't that have the capability of managing very complex like CSS files or let's say heavy graphics, even though we don't have any heavy graphics apart from the background. So let's quickly see how we can change the how we can customize each and every object in our installation very easily. For example, I want to change the background color of a few of these items. For example, I want to change the background color of this like button, this little bulb. But the only option I can change in the visualization editor, it's the show background. We can't change the background. So for that we have the CSS classes. In this case, we can right-click and click Inspect. Sorry, I forgot. No. For this case, we go to the visualization graphics. Okay, visualization graphics. We go to Edit, Custom CSS, and we can create in here a custom CSS classes that we can modify all the visualization properties of each object. For example, if we have a object that it's overlapping another object that we need to be on top, we can easily create a top function, a top class that says very easily C index at 100 with the important tag. This way, every object that we put the top class, it will be on top of every other object. In this case, we save this. We won't see it because it's a graphical, it's just a matter of position. In this case, we don't have any overlapping object. Sorry. Okay. We can also create, for example, a background, let's say color, a color class dot color, sorry, dot color, and open close, and we can create in here background color, and we can set it to, for example, red. Let's go F00 point comma, and we save it. To apply this class to the object, we go to the visualization editor. We unlock the plan, select the object that we want to apply that class, and we go down at the bottom, additional classes. We write specifically the class that we have created. In this case is color, without the point, just the name of the class. We apply, and then we save and reload the plan, and then we go to the pre-visualization, the preview, and we can see how the object now has a red background color. We can also change and put a round corner, for example. This way we can, if we click a right button and inspect on our browser, we can see what classes it's the object using and what classes can we manage and can we change of the object, so we can modify it. For example, in this case, the icon, the item, if I scroll about, we can see how I select different icons. In this case, I select this and I change it. For example, as you can see in here, it's using the color tab, if I can modify just briefly. I modify in here. It doesn't mean that it's modified in the LogicMachine. It's just being modified in this visualization. So when I change, for example, border radius, yeah, radius. There we go, border radius, and we can set it to, for example, 15 pixels. There we go. We can see how the corners are now rounded. We can also set, for example, when we click the object, you can see that the object changes its size. We can change the behavior of that graphic. We can change, for example, let's create, we have, you can use several pages, for example, a gradient CSS generators online. You can create very easily gradient. Let's go with this one. Anyone you use, it's the same, for example. In this case, we can create a gradient. It's just copying and pasting this code that it's generated inside the class that we have just already created. The background will be set to that specific gradient that we have. This is not the page that I wanted. I wanted a this one, gradient generator. It allows me to create a shadow. So let's set the shadow to 5 pixels for 5 pixels. That way is great. So we copy this and we paste it in our CSS class, and also we can modify the way that the click behaves. For that, we go to Inspect and we click on in here, hover, toggle elements. So when we click on active, it will show us the active object. This is all a little bit of CSS information. If you are not used to use CSS, there are great trainings online, free trainings even, that you can use. In this case, I don't want it to change the size, so I scale it to 1. Change it this, and we can paste the shadow that I have already pasted. But in this case, I'm going to modify it a little bit. Let's go again, inspect, and let me refresh the page very quickly so we can see. Okay. Okay. It's refreshed. As we can see, the border radius is not applied because it was made just in that instance. In this case, we should be able to see. I didn't save it, sorry. Save, and then update again. There we go. It should show us the shadow in the icon that we selected. There we go. It has now a shadow. So I just saved when I click the button, you can see that it doesn't change its size, but I want the shadow to be inside the object at this moment. So I go to the object itself, and in here, in the shadow, I just open the editor and change it to insert. There we go. And I copy this and paste it into our, there we go, paste. So when we save and upload the page very quickly, now the object will have a shadow, and when we click on the object, it will show the shadow inside as we are pressing the object. You can see we have created a sort of 3D button very quickly and very easily with the CSS classes. I don't know if you can see it, but there you go. The shadow inside, the shadow outside. Very quickly, very easily, we can modify all the behavior of all the icons, all the items in this visualization using the CSS. We can also change the way that the object behaves. We can also create, using JavaScript, we can change the way that a button behaves. In this case, when we click on the button, it's a toggle signal. We can also change it to send a fixed value. But in the case that we want, for example, a doorbell button, that we click on the button and then release, it will send a value when it's pressed and then send the value when it's released. We can change that by using JavaScripts and add it to the icon itself. For that, we're going to create them tomorrow. We don't have much time right now. I'm going to show you the mosaic visualization, which is the visualization that we can use in the cloud. The mosaic visualization, we can find it in the main screen, in the app screen. It's always being updated, so we have to be very close with the updates. In this case, we need an update. This visualization, it allows us to create small widgets that we can control our system with. Okay, and sorry, let's go. We have two different icons. The first icon, the blue and the dark blue icon, it's the let's say the user mode. It's the visualization that the user will see. The other item, it's the admin. It's the editor. Let's say when we click on the editor, it will show us this screen. It's loading. Okay, my connection is very slow. Okay, admin. Mosaic. Let me try with another one. 31. Okay. For example, we have here mosaic. There we go. This is the screen that we will see when we enter the admin icon of the mosaic. We have here, we can select, we can add new floors depending on our installation, our system. We can change and add and modify the name of the different floors that we have. We can also create new rooms. Checking on room. In this case, it's already created. Let me create a new one. Add new room in here. We click and we create room 2. There we go. It shows us a blank space that we can add some new widgets. Click on new widget and we can see here that we have climate control, AC, on off, the fire sensors, water leakage, some drapes, different types of controlling drapes, some floor heating controls. We can also create a HTML frame, inline frames. We have a lot of controls that we can create and add in this system. In this case, let's add some lights, some switching lights. In this case, we call it lights, for example. Then we select the on-off objects, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. We can select also 1, 1. This is the status object, the 4, 1, 1 for 1, 1, 1, 2, the 1 for 2, and the third one, 1, 1, 3, and the 1 for 3. There we go. So we save. It doesn't matter if it's not full. And this way we can click and turn on and off our lights very quickly. This visualization has the advantage that we in here in the menu that we have at the right, we click, and what is this? Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back a second. I believe this is not updated. Either. Okay, let's see. No, it's updated. Okay, we have the mosaic and cloud. Okay, we go to the editor in this here. And then in the menu, right here at the right, we have the cloud beta. This is a solution so we can see this visualization using the cloud with no need of VPNs and other opening ports on our router that can be dangerous. We can, for this, we have to register a new user with an email and a password. Or we can sign in if we already have a new user. It's very simple. It's just create email password. In this case, I'm going to use a already created. Let's see. No, sorry. Sign in. Error. Okay. Sign in. I have a problem with the password. There we go. There we go. It's already installed, so I can change the name for this controller. This case is the reactor. The reactor. Let's leave it that way. And we sync to the cloud all the progress that we have done. Once we have changed all the progress, we have added all the widgets, all the controls that we want to use, we sync it to the cloud. And this way we can use either the Android application that we can download from the OpenRB page or the cloud.logicmachine.net. When we go on cloud.logicmachine.net, we have also the same icon that we have in the Logic Machine. We click on it, and it will ask for a email user and a password. We put the same user and password that we have created earlier. We authorize it, and then it will show the visualization we have already created. I have a lot of them, so let's go to the reactor. There we go. We can go to the room 2 that we have created, and there we go. We have the same controls that we have created in here in the local address. Here we can see 192.168, but we are watching it in the cloud. We can open this address, this direction, this function from any site, anywhere in the world with an internet connection, and we'll control our lights and our system very quickly. As you can see in the screen, you can see how the lights change very, very fast. So we can create any different type of widget. We could also go create a one, I believe it's 21, for example. We have created a 1.4.21. It's not created. Okay, doesn't matter. A dimmer object 1.3.21 and a color object, which will be this one. We can save, and we can control, for example, one of the hue lights that we have created, and we can change the color very easily. If we update in the cloud, we sync the new changes that we have made, and we update the page of the cloud, we will see there is a new widget in the controls that we can control all our installation very easy. There you see. This we can download, of course, the Android application, the Android app, using openrb.com. Inside the examples, I recommend you to see the examples of the LogicMachine webpage because they have a lot of examples. It will be very, very useful. There are many examples that we are not showing in this tutorial because it is very, very, it will be very, very long. We go in here, LogicMachine Cloud Solution Beta. When we click on it, it will show us the instructions of how to create our visualization using the mosaic. And in here, in the point number 12, we have Android debug.zip. We download this in our phone and we install the Android app. The iOS app, it's being created also, so we have to wait a little bit for it. But very soon we will have also integration with LogicMachine in Apple. We can also create widgets in our own. Here we have, in the same example, we have some samples of how to create and modify custom themes of the mosaic and custom widgets. We can create them on our own if the ones that we have here are not enough. Well, I hope this presentation was of your like. Tomorrow we will see how to modify the behavior of the icons with JavaScript codes. It's very easy. We can create all types of controls that we need. We can create from push buttons to short and long buttons, pulsation buttons, to control any type of system that we need from our visualization. I hope that you have liked it. If you have any question, you can ask us right now, or well, you can send us an email. We will be happy to answer your queries. Also, this video, as the others and all that we are going to do in these 4 sessions, will be sent to you by email at the end of the training. Thank you very much. Have a good day, and thanks for your attention. Goodbye.